Sports Illustrated senior writer, Fox and baseball analyst. Game 4, Brewers-Dodgers. That'll be tonight on Fox Sports 1. Joe Buck and John Smoltz have the call. Kenny Rosenthal and Tom reporting from the field. We'll talk about both series coming up today and tonight. But, Tom, thanks for joining us. How would you sum up last night, what happened between the Brewers and the Dodgers?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun for me because I don't care who wins or loses. If you're rooting for one team or another, I think it's been a ton of tension in these games. It's kind of the series that I thought, Dan. It's been a manager series. I don't think there's a lot of separation between these two teams. You see a million pitching changes. That was expected. And last night, I think you just saw the Dodgers get shut down offensively. And, you know, Craig Counsell did it with 5 pitchers. It's pretty much the fewest you're going to see in a Brewers game in this series. So there's a lot of heat on the Dodgers going to the Game 4 tonight.
Well, finish that sentence. If the Dodgers lose tonight, ...
Not over. I still think they'll find a way to get this series back to Milwaukee. Hard for me to believe that this team that, you know, hit more home runs than any team in the National League, walked more than any team in the National League, is going to lose 3 straight at home. So I wouldn't say it's a must-win, but, you know, you get down 3-1. It's pretty darn close to it. So, yeah, I think the Dodgers will find a way. Like I said, it's been an even series so far. And they did get the tying run to the plate in that crazy ninth inning last night.
Well, we thought this was going to be the Dodgers starters in the Milwaukee bullpen, and the bullpen hasn't been very good for Milwaukee. The starters maybe a little bit better than we thought, certainly last night. But as you handicap this moving forward, what do you think is going to be the key for both teams?
Well, to me, for the Brewers, it's Josh Hader. You know, he's the most important piece on the entire chessboard of the postseason because he's not just dominating hitters, Dan. He's embarrassing them. And he's sitting out in there in the bullpen, and I'm sure Dave Roberts is managing the game. You know, it's like when you play the Carolina Panthers, you got to account for Luke Kuechly. You know, where is he every play? And you're always thinking about Hader and when he might get dropped into the game because everything is going to stop when he comes in. He's been that good this postseason. So for me, Dodgers, they need to score runs early. And as you mentioned, the Brewers starters haven't allowed that at all. In fact, the postseason, they've allowed 1 run the entire postseason in 6 games. And look at their rotation, right? You got Chacin, who's on a 7th team. You got Wade Miley, who signed a minor league contract. And tonight you're going to get Gio Gonzalez, who had a 4.5 ERA with the Washington Nationals. I mean, think about it. The Brewers are trying to get to the World Series, and in 2 of the first 4 games, they're going to start Gio Gonzalez. It's not exactly Sandy Koufax.
Or John Drysdale.
Somehow Counsell makes this thing work. Obviously, he wants Dave Roberts. He wants him to, you know, keep his left-handers on the bench when Gonzalez starts the game, and then when he flips to his right-handed platoon, like a line change in hockey, he's going to switch, you know, to his other right-handed relievers and flip them over, and then, you know, they got it set up later on. So I think Counsell has really managed these games very well, but the key to me is Dave Roberts and the Dodgers can blow up his plan by actually scoring runs against the starting pitcher.
He's Tom Verducci, the Sports Illustrated senior writer working for Fox, and the game coming up tonight, Game 4, Brewers-Dodgers. That'll be at 9 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. We had Kurt Gibson on yesterday, the anniversary of him hitting that home run off Dennis Eckersley. What do you remember about that night?
It's a bad memory for me because I was at the game, covering the game, and it was obviously the 9th inning, and I started working my way down to the interview room because the press box to the interview room at Dodger Stadium, man, it's like a taxi cab ride. So I'm like, I better start getting down there. So I actually got down there to the room before he hit the home run, but I saw it on TV. It wasn't quite the same. Now, I did get to listen to Vin Scully's call live, so that was cool. But I was like, you know, I'm never leaving the press box early again, even if it takes me an hour to get down to the interview room.
I missed Bill Buckner's error in 1986 Game 6. I was underneath, outside the Red Sox locker room, because I thought the Red Sox are going to finally break the curse. So I'm in the runway leading off the field going up to the locker room, and all I heard was a roar that I've never heard and will probably never hear again. And I'm there, and Dick Schaap was listening on his radio. And I said, what just happened? And he said, the Mets just won this game. And the first person I saw come up the tunnel was Bill Buckner. And, you know, to his credit and to Dennis Eckersley credit, both those guys and Mitch Williams, I've been in those three scenarios where those guys answered every question after one of the most tough or difficult moments, embarrassing moments. Mitch gave up the home run to Joe Carter. Eck gives up the homer to Gibby, and Buck has the ball go through his legs. And they sat there and answered every question that the writers had to ask. Amazing.
Great point. And as you know, Dan, those guys answer questions over and over again because you get waves of reporters. There's so many of them. It's not like you just handle it once. I'll throw one more onto that pile, and that was Mariano Rivera in 2001, losing Game 7 of the World Series. Did the same thing, stood up to the music. So I remember in '86, I was in the back of the press box at Shea Stadium working for Newsday back then, and we're all putting together a game plan about what stories we're going to write with the Red Sox winning the World Series. And you remember they flashed briefly on the scoreboard at Shea Stadium, "Congratulations, Boston Red Sox, 1986 World Champions." Yep. That's why you love baseball, right? There's no clock. You're not going to take a knee. You're not going to take the air out of the ball. You got to get that 27th out. It's great.
Red Sox and the Astros, certainly feels like the Astros are the better team, the more well-rounded team. I got Sale coming out of the hospital. Price gave us a little bit here. Now you got Dallas Keuchel going. What do you expect in this series, how it plays out tonight?
Yeah, I'm with you. Right now, the Astros, to me, just look like a handful. And all due respect to the Red Sox and all their wins during the season, but the Sale situation is scary. He obviously wasn't right. And I'm not saying there was something wrong with him in terms of the stomach when he pitched last game, but he was not really sharp the last game. There's concern there, and now the hospitalization puts a little more worry on top of that. Price, not trustworthy. They managed to sneak out a win in that game. That was not a great start. So the Astros are a handful, man. They, at home now, that place to me last year in the World Series, that was as loud as almost any place I've been in the postseason. Only the Metrodome for me was ever louder. So they got their hands full. I just look at Houston right now, Dan, and, it's hard for me to see where the flaw is. Where's the soft spot? Where can you win a game against them now that Ryan Presley has really stepped up in that bullpen? So it's going to be tough. I had the Astros originally in 6. I'll probably stick with that. And to me, the Red Sox absolutely have to have good, deep starting pitching to win 3 more games.
I know that everybody's hell-bent on hitting home runs, but I think the Astros changed, and I think the Red Sox changed a little bit because Cora came over from Houston, and it feels like he gave that mentality of let's put the ball in play. We can still hit home runs when, if we need it, or we can rely on it a little bit. But I think the smaller things, that's what stands out with the Astros. They're not afraid to move a runner over and do some small things there, and I think the Red Sox are trying to adapt a little bit of that. I even asked Dave Roberts about that with the Dodgers. I said, are you too reliant on the home run? And he goes, maybe a little bit, but we do walk a lot. Well, if you're not bringing anybody in doing the little things and you're not hitting home runs, I don't care how much you're walking here.
Well, you're right. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with home runs. I don't think there's such a thing as hitting too many home runs. But you better mix in, as you said, Houston and Boston do this, putting the ball in play with guys on base.
But don't you think this was the Yankees' issue? That I thought they were built for the regular season, not for the postseason. And I'm talking about just offense. We can talk about the pitching staff, but it feels like there's certain teams that are just built for the postseason. I didn't think the Yankees were.
Yeah, I do believe that. And again, I think you have to have both. And for me, the Dodgers are kind of built along the same way. I mean, forget runners in scoring position numbers with the Dodgers, okay? I know we love to look at that stat. They're a team like the Yankees that needs to hit home runs to beat you, and they hit a ton of them. And they, as Dave Roberts told you, they do walk a lot, so they get guys on base. And you see guys hitting home runs with a guy on first base, but they don't get a lot of hits with runners in scoring position. Yeah. So if they don't hit home runs like last night, they're going to lose games. I mean, their path to winning the World Series is to hit home runs, period. And, Dan, that's tough to do every day in the postseason. They'll win some games that way, but can they win enough?
Oh, I did want to tell you, I really liked the Justin Turner piece you did last night. It was just well written, and, you didn't have to have any sound bites in there. It was well done. And so I wanted to make.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate that. He's fun to watch. Now, he's an exception to this, hitting just home runs. Great heart and soul of that team, but I think if you asked me to pick one guy in the Dodgers to get a hit with a guy on second base, no doubt he'd be the guy.
Have fun tonight, Tom. Always good to catch up with you. Thank you.
Absolutely, Dan. Have fun.
That's Tom Verducci, Sports Illustrated senior writer with Fox and Major League Baseball Network analyst.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.